Hello everyone, my name is Anna and I'm a 48 years old woman, foreigner living in London for 20 years. I would like to speak a little bit today about finding a place to live in London in 2025. We know that it's getting increasingly tricky and more expensive to find a good place to live in. So when I was thinking about that, I have a few ideas that could possibly help you to get better results with your search of place. So let me start it. I would like to share with you my thoughts and experiences and opinions. Hopefully that will be helpful for someone of you. The first thing is just to consider to increase your areas of search and includes zones 4, 5 and 6 in your search, because usually these are the zones that have more affordable options in terms of accommodation. Of course, you have a big contrast in the areas. There's some more expensive areas and there's some less expensive areas. More expensive like Wimbledon, Richmond, Kingston, Harrow, just to name a few, and less expensive areas like perhaps Croydon, Lewisham, Romford, and the likes of them. So I'm not really familiar with all the areas in London, but I'm familiar with just those areas. And in general, the rule of the thumb is that central London is more expensive, and also the inner London zones 1, 2, 3 are more expensive, just for the reason that people want to live in central London and there are a lot of people competing for limited amount of properties. In general, zones 4, 5 and 6 are bigger as area. There are much more choices and therefore you've got less lower prices and bigger choice. What you need to consider when you look for a place in general. I've got 3 criteria that have always served me very well when my husband and I have looked for places that served us. And these 3 factors to consider are prices, crime, and how crowded the place is in general. Prices, we don't even need to discuss that, because we always want to get better value for our money. We would like a nicer place for lower price, and that's really not possible in central London. It could be possible if you do a very good search in the outskirts, like zones 4, 5, 6. It could be possible still to find a place, a nice place, affordable place. And the second thing to consider is crime rates. There's a big variety of crime rates across London. It's not a secret that central London has one of the biggest crime rates in the capital. So yeah, that's the second minus point for central London. In zones 4, 5 and 6, you've got a big variety of places in terms of crime. There are some very nice safer areas and there's some less safe areas. Just do your research, check the crime rates in the particular area, and also in the particular areas you've got places, just particular streets or micro areas with less crimes or more crime. Yeah, just do your research, check it. Just better safe than sorry. And the third criteria to consider as the third factor is how crowded the place is in terms of GP practices, schools, green areas, shopping, community benefits like libraries, pubs, restaurants, and all these places, and parks, of course, all these places of interest that you might wish to just to think about and consider which ones are important for you and which are not. When you combine all these three criteria, of course you can narrow it down to certain little areas that are more desirable than others. So I'm based on this, of course it's more difficult to find somewhere decent to live, but if you have some kind of medium salary or a decent salary, I'm sure that you can find somewhere that is okay to live and is not too expensive and is safe enough for your needs. So I'm pretty sure that if you do your research and if you are patient and you look very carefully, you can still find a place to live in London if you really, really need to do it. So I know that a lot of people move out of London. Of course, that's your choice. If you find London completely off-putting, unaffordable, unsafe, and too crowded, of course, there are the options of moving out of London. But I'm not really talking about that. Because I live in London myself for 20 years, and somehow I managed to find decent places for decent prices, and I'm sharing with you just my own personal experience and mine and my husband's criteria when we had to search for a place to live, and that those three factors and that criteria served us really, really well throughout the years. And I have to say that we always found places that we liked and we could afford. And we finally found our most preferred place and situation after a few months of search. Yes, it takes long, but the research and the effort is completely worth it, because London is an amazing city and it's a great place to live. I would not say central London, but I mean, to each their own. I prefer to live outside of central London, a little bit in the periphery. I find it nicer and more spacious, with better services in general. Also, of course, you need to consider the transport links when you search for a place. But I have to say that the whole London is pretty well connected. And if you are willing to travel a little bit longer, a little bit farther, there are plenty of possibilities. And also there is another thing. I mean, if you don't really work in central London, why would you need to live in central London? You can always go down pretty quickly to central London just for entertainment, and that's great, because central London is always available whenever you want to reach it. So I would say living in zones 5 or 6 is having the best of both worlds. You have feeling of not being in London, but at the same time you are in London. So you have more affordable prices, better services, and still London is like central London. All this entertainment is very, very close to you. Basically, maximum an hour away from you. So I would say you could consider living in zones 4, 5, and 6. And I want to wish you the best of luck with your search. If you find this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up and share your personal experiences and opinions of finding a place in London, living in London, and all things connected to that. Thank you very much. Bye bye.